Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Dr. Kenton Wakes Up. I'm Dr. Kenton. It is Tuesday, February 4, 2025. How's it going? As you can see, I'm in the Insanadome. In the cup today is Colcafe, which is instant coffee with Coffeemate. If you're in a hurry, you could do a lot worse. So today's Tuesday. Tuesday is the day that I'm going to be focusing on some work. Need to get some things done for my own personal sanity, and also I just remembered something that I probably need to focus on a little today too, so I'm going to add that to my list. Just hang on for a second. All right, so Tuesday. I mentioned that Mondays are for meetings. Yesterday we had meetings. One of the things that perturbs me about the meetings that I tend to go to is that sometimes the person running the meeting can be a little flighty, or like chasing the shiny thing rather than the important thing. And I'm probably oversensitive guy, but taking some shots at people that have actually done a lot of work and letting slide people who haven't. It's fine. We'll get through it. It's likely that by the time we have another meeting, there'll be another hot topic and this one gets forgotten entirely. Today the weather is supposed to be a little warmer than it has been lately. I don't have my watch that tells me the temperature outside, but it was close to 40, so that's nice and warm. I don't have temperature on any of my little windows that I look at. That's fine. I don't need to. The sun's brightly shining. Today's garbage day. Last week I forgot to put the garbage out, so today they picked it up. Hooray! I didn't put all the recycling out, so I got a starter for next week. Tuesday working on work. And had ratatouille last night for dinner, and there was a lot of it, so I had ratatouille and more or less scrambled eggs for breakfast. Pretty tasty, if I might say so myself. Just trying to keep up with the expectations of work and doing the things that are expected. I maybe mentioned yesterday the concept of not surrendering before you're even confronted with the challenge. And yesterday in the meeting, it was pretty clear to me that some of the challenges we face are not really even being taken seriously. So, though this morning, last night I was complaining about, why is it that nobody's taking a strong stance, or why is it that the people who are in a position to take a strong stance are not taking a strong stance, or even really having a stance, sharing a stance. And somebody pointed out to me that I should listen to a particular podcast. Basically says, don't believe the nonsense, don't believe much of anything, because when the dust settles, there'll be nothing. For example, our dear leader decided that the right thing to do was to try to punish Canada and Mexico for their perceived complicity in allowing in Canada's case, tons and tons of fentanyl to just flow across the border. And in Mexico's case, millions and millions of illegals. And neither of those things are true. And in fact, the number of... There is a number that's pretty high of people who are in the country incarcerated, who were or started out as illegal aliens. That's a pretty high number. They're not... they're serving their sentence. They're not eligible for deportation yet. And in the case of Canada, all the information I've seen says that the fentanyl problem vis-a-vis Canada is because Americans are trying to bring it back over the border. It's not illegals. It's not drug. It's not, brown-skinned, illegal drug dealers. It's Americans. People who are not unlike you and me. Have the disposable income to go across the border and grab up some of these pharmaceuticals that are not prescription based there, but are here, or are restricted access here and not there, whatever the case is. And they try to bring way too much over the border and they get caught. It would be nice. I know it's impossible. It would be nice if there was a way to help people analyze arguments and decide whether they are believable or not. Because when the idea you decide to stake your reputation on involves armadas of UFOs, I'm not saying that there are not, consciousnesses that can transcend space and time, but the issue when I was a kid was the little green man from Mars. There aren't little green men from Mars. You might be visited by a glowing orb that communicates consciousness and wisdom to you, but there's no UFOs. Sorry. I do believe in the consciousness. So anyway, maybe everybody's taking an approach that says we're just going to wait and see how it turns out. And I don't like that approach. It seems flaccid. But it's probably based on my own upbringing, where the advice I got from especially from my mom, I don't remember my dad offering advice like this, but my mom said, you gotta resist improper accusations. You gotta fight back when people are threatening your livelihood or person. And I just didn't see that from the elected representatives. Maybe they have insight that isn't available to us. I don't know. But when an unelected, non-governmental entity is rumored to be in charge of the Office of Personnel Management at the federal government, and the office, and separately the office of in the Treasury that issues payments, and according to the reports I've seen, there's a flotilla of young engineers who are rewriting some of the software that processes payments. That's very concerning, friends, to me. Something that probably shouldn't just be allowed to happen, but like I said, I'm not in a position to do anything about it. And maybe it'll turn out that it's a big nothing burger. I don't know. It's just this uncertainty, and it's kind of came to me yesterday that a lot of what people tell their kids and is officially taught in schools and so forth is that there's a lot more certainty in the world than there actually is, and I think it's a way to get kids to not be nervous about certain things that are largely outside their control. But, when you get to be an adult and you're supposed to be making your own decisions, and the nature of the certainty that you are relying on is actually not true, never has been true, it can throw you for a loop. Or you can join a group of people that are like you and believe the same things that all PS are not true. Then you really can walk yourself down a long path. So I'm trying not to be too reactive about this. Just hopeful that it resolves. One of the main things that I'm sort of keeping an eye on to make sure that the horse is in the hospital, that the inspectors general that were all laid off en masse, illegally laid off, illegally removed from office because they require more than just your services are no longer needed message to be removed from office. It needs to be like a 30-day notice and a bunch of evidence and claims and hearings, which haven't happened, of course. And that I hope that the people who are those inspectors general continue to prosecute their jobs as much as they're being allowed to, I guess, because you take away the institutional memory of these institutions, and then things are really messy for a long time until things get straightened out again. So you might say that I'm existentially concerned. That's probably true. I'm trying not to be corporeally activated, though. I know that I don't have the control over this type of stuff, but I'm just trying to be equanimitous. I'm going to try to act with equanimity toward it. It's not in my control. I'm trying to do the right thing and be a good citizen. And sometimes wait and see, I guess, is the proper approach. Love you, bye.